Extremely Forward is brought to you by petervanderwaldshop.com, the official online store. Send your questions for Peter, comments, suggestions, praise, and tributes to connect@extremelyforward.com. Extremely Forward is brought to you by petervanderwaldshop.com, the official online store. Send your questions for Peter, comments, suggestions, praise, and tributes to connect@extremelyforward.com. That's CONNECT@extremelyforward.com. Extremely Forward is brought to you by petervanderwaldshop.com, the official online store. Send your questions for Peter, comments, suggestions, praise, and tributes to connect@extremelyforward.com. Extremely Forward is brought to you by petervanderwaldshop.com, the official online store. Send your questions for Peter, comments, suggestions, praise, and tributes to connect@extremelyforward.com. That's CONNECT@extremelyforward.com.
Yeah, handle my, 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 handle mine. Every bill on time, every kid fed good, every goal in line. Talk slick online, I don't really mind. I'm too busy building what I'm leaving behind. Handle mine, every bill on time, every kid fed good, every goal in line. Talk slick online, I don't really mind. I'm too busy building what I'm leaving behind.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 202 of Extremely Forward. Today, initiated by that lovely ass-shaking music. It's the kind of tune that makes you want to thrust your hips like you want a larger family. I'm your host, Peter van der Walt, and this is a show for readers who want to be updated on my books, viewers who want to be updated on my movies, fans who want to be updated on events and appearances, and crazy people who like my company. It's also so that my in-laws are happy with news, so that I don't have to talk to them on the phone. This is a show about everything and nothing, where we have a healthy disdain for globalist elites. Might be described as a cesspool of indoctrination and hate, as well as a place where we discuss horror movies and science fiction stories. We have some satire about the news and current affairs because we don't respect it at all. We have some amazing music and tunes that you won't find anywhere else. And there's some fun events that we cover in the southwest of England, things that are happening around this here parts of the world. We have some family recipes. First one for you today. There'll be some comedy sketches going forward, and then it's Extremely Forward, straight talk about assorted miscellany. And of course, it's the deep masculine charms of my beautiful but allegedly homosexual speaking voice. If it is your first time with us today, Lord be with you, but you are especially most welcome. Thank you for your company and lending us your ears for this little while. Hopefully, you like it so much that I get to live rent-free in your head. You see, my voice should enter your subconscious and tell you stuff like, buy my books. If you're a regular listener, then I'm very glad to see you as well. I love you more than ever. You're amazing, and thanks for sticking here. And then, what is the topic of this week? We don't really have a topic. I did advertise that we're going to talk about the next big thing, but that's only because I panicked and I didn't know what else to do. And then because I panicked even more, because I realized there is no actual topic, I promised that there's going to be something about a flotilla that my listeners can join, But, folks, I will never make such a fool of myself or my listeners that I would make them anything as banal as activists. Instead,
Pete, it's time for the WALTEF Global News.
Or as I like to call it, the news and improved. Just before I get to it, I need to make 2 apologies. The first apology is, I tried this for the first time, the Global News, last week, and it was, despite my best efforts to be funny, it was still incredibly boring. So I hereby undertake to find a way to make this news thing fun, if it's the last thing I ever do. So I'm going to, see what I can do to lift it a bit and make it a bit better, but the material I have to work with is so sucky. Now, I do it naked, but this is an audio show, and then, I'm a bit of a niche market anyway. I'm what you call a reverse stripper. When I go to clubs, people pay me money to put more things on. So that wouldn't work. But I'm gonna experiment going forward and see what we can do to make the news a bit more bearable. Maybe add a laugh track or some applause or some farm noises or something. Because the underlying material is just terrible. The other thing is that if my takes makes you mad and you have, any outrage, that you should reserve your outrage for the people that actually are doing the fucking up, not the person bringing you the coverage of them doing that.
Here's what's up in the world with politics and news that you really want to get from people who are supposed to entertain, but spend the time to posture, perform, lecture, and complain.
This is your WALTEF Global News for the week ending 10 July 2026. It's another week proving that politics is just theater with a larger explosives budget. In America, Washington resumed strikes on Iranian targets after declaring Tehran was behaving very badly. Well, that's one hell of a surprise, don't you think? A religious fanatic terrorist state that has been sponsoring attacks on Western soil since the 70s and has a government department for the export of the Islamic Revolution is not a viable peace partner? Who the hell would have thought? Oil prices leapt, markets wobbled, and every television expert rediscovered the phrase critical turning point for the 17th time this year, also proving that people are willing to endure long-term threats to morality, civilization, reason, and survival, provided gas doesn't cost more this week. In Maine, elected Democratic nominee Graham Plattner just dropped out, this after more allegations surfaced. I personally can't get over the Nazi tattoo myself. I feel that might have been an indicator of character earlier on, but expedience. American politics, a choice between an out-of-control bulldozer and a dishonest TED Talk. In Britain, Labour is still trying to convince voters that changing the manager counts as changing the menu. In a country with more arrests for social media posts than Belarus, China, or Turkey, no, really, there's now talk of banning X and VPNs altogether, as well as boosting the results of Sky News and BBC on YouTube, proving that the problem isn't ever reality, it's all those stupid citizens thinking for themselves and acting accordingly. If only we could ban all contrary viewpoints, like we try to cancel elections or ignored grooming gangs, then everyone would agree with the wisdom of the trust fund humanity degree classes. Who knows, we may even reverse Brexit. Again, voters are stupid and don't know what they are doing. Luckily, we now have a self-identified socialist running to be in charge, promising to implement the above agenda faster. Nigel Farage spent the week batting away awkward questions over donations, while the mainstream respectable media doing the questioning got to behave like a pack of rabid hyenas while still deciding what the talking points are allowed to be. And around the world, it's pretty much been the World Cup that kept providing a welcome distraction from geopolitics, although even that wasn't safe from political interventions and point scoring. To summarize and compare with last week, very little to nothing has changed, and yet somehow, if you follow the joyride all week, by now, you'd be fucking exhausted.
It's time for audience questions, where the world's best readers and viewers tell Pete what they want to know.
Yeah, well,
Samson
never
wants
say
to
never.
know, are you
Never say never.
religious?
But I feel like I said what I needed to say there. And I don't know, there's not really much room for anything else. There's nothing else I can say there. And I think that's why I kind of pivoted towards the horror and the sci-fi. It's spec-fic, right? Speculative fiction. It's the kind of thing that can go anywhere and go on forever because it's so imagination-based. For me, it's almost like horror and sci-fi are two sides of a coin, you know. Sci-fi has the hope and the aspirations and the dreams and the goals. It's the future and how we envision it. And then you've got horror, which is almost the exact opposite. It's the darkest impulses. It's the nightmares, the fears. It's ancient, visceral things that haunt humanity, and we can't seem to escape no matter how many satellites we build. So that gives me rich enough terrain to explore. I think I enjoy telling stories in horror and sci-fi a lot more than I enjoy thrillers. But never again, you know, I wouldn't hold my breath for any new stories there, but never say never.
Samson wants to know, are you religious?
See now, yeah, you see, here's the problem. Okay, so I don't mind personal questions, but it is my experience that people mind personal answers. Because if you think about a question like that, right, I can answer that honestly or dishonestly. Okay, but no matter what I do, at least one person out there who has no reason to think that I'm one of them will now dislike me because it turns out I'm not one of them. You know, you're going to win fans and you're going to alienate some people. You can't read my books, watch my movies, listen to the show and conclude that I'm particularly orthodox or very like a poster boy for, you know, truth, justice, and morality. But there is an implied morality I find in the work I do, in what I write. You know, in horror, I mentioned this in the Dark Thoughts series of interviews with Charlotte Kelly. It's if you go to the website, it's on the About section, where we spoke about the implied morality of horror, that there's a bad guy and there's good guys, and the good guys are fighting the bad guys. I think my early relationship with religion was pretty toxic, so that kind of spoils things for me a bit. But I'm not. I simply can't believe that everything here is just like a randomness. I like the idea of religion. I like the idea of tradition and ritual. I like the idea. It's kind of like, you know what, if you want abs and you want good biceps, you're going to follow a certain protocol. You know, 3 sets of 10 to 12 on this lifts. And if you do this so many times a week, you're going to be fit and you're going to be hot, right? And for me, religion is a similar thing. It's the moral and intellectual and aesthetic, and if there is such a thing, spiritual dimension of things. You're going to stay in practice. So if you go to church every Sunday, or you go to synagogue every Friday, and there's the high holy days that you participate in, and there's like baptisms, and there's funerals, and there's marriage, and there's this rhythm to life that kind of keeps you in practice, and it keeps you, if you read your scriptures, you think about age-old questions that humanity has been wrestling with for forever. So, and I mean, I'm going on and on about a very simple question. I guess I can say, like that drunk chick you met at the bar, I'm spiritual, not religious. But I can't be one of those. I'm just not smart enough. I am religious, I guess. I'm not a perfect example of it, but then I'm a religion of exactly one, and we don't proselytize. From there, the best thing to do is apologize again. I apologized when we did the news, and now I need to apologize again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for a heartfelt and contrite personal apology to all victims of my hurty words and their extended family. May the healing be fast and complete as I lie censored, chastised and cancelled at their feet.
There was an objection to my use of the word commie at the end of the last episode. And I would like to hereby say that I'm not sorry about using the word commie at all. There was that era where people could be silenced, but that era is no longer with us, thank God. And I was never the kind of guy who was going to be silenced anyway. As we go into break, I'd just like to part with this thought.
You got a binder full of dreams and a ribbon cutting grin, 1,000 little helpers for the mess we're living in. Free lunches, grants, and task forces, a brand new office door, a pilot for the pilot, and a pilot for that more. Good intentions, gold-plated, noble words on the wall, but every shiny little promise comes with our bill in full. Why are you such communists? Why are you such communists? We pay, you plan, and ask for more. Why are you such communists? You got a program for the housing, a panel for the pain, a workshop for the aftermath, and a survey in the rain, a summit for the suffering, a framework for the strain, a committee for the committee that keeps circling the drain. You call it mercy, progress, call it civic pride. We call it one more line item we can't keep open wide. Why are you such communists? Why are you such communists? We pay, you plan, and ask for more. Why are you such communists? We're not made of money, we're already stretched thin. Every fix turns into layers before the month rolls in. If it's such a noble mission, Why does it cost so much? Why does every helping hand come with a heavier touch? Why are you such communists? Why are you such communists? We pay, you planned and asked for more. Why are you such communists?
Communists.
Overburdened, underheard, that's the vote you never read. We'll back the common good when it stops feeding greed. Why are you such communists?
Communists.
Communists! The Extremely Forward Podcast with Peter Vanderwalt.
You know, Brian, it's a funny thing. When you're young, it's all about looking cool and faking it till you're making it, you know. And you have to be sexy and stern. You've got your image, you know. You've got to shake that fringe of yours and pose and flex your biceps a little bit as you walk. You watch the pretty young people strutting their beautiful little behinds, and yet you notice that they seldom smile. They're very serious. And then as you get older, I think you realize that you're in a losing fight against a relentless clock that won't stop ticking. And so some point arrives where you resolve to squeeze every last little drop of joy, beauty, and fun out of life. So if we made this show a few years ago, like a decade ago or so, you know, we might have done recipes here that would help you get six-pack abs, right? But I'm going to upfront say here that this is not a show where we share recipes that help you get six-pack abs. Here, we're all about tasty, you know. Tasty as hell. Then life is all about choices, you know, Brian. And you can have self-respect or you can have dessert. And I decided at some point that if I'm going to go well fed.
It's family recipe time, isn't it?
That it is.
It's time to learn how to trade all your self-respect for delicious, delectable calories. It's time indeed for family recipes.
So the other day I saw this meme that said, "Is British food really bad?" And the answer was, if made correctly, yes. It's not true, by the way. I'm thinking of Sunday pub roasts or good fish and chips or an Eton mess. You know, there's a lot of yummy stuff anywhere and everywhere you go in this world. But what I do know is that people don't like things that are too weird and that sound too weird. Now, I'm telling you up front, this one's going to sound weird, okay? But if you always do what you always did, you're always going to get what you always got, you know? So it sounds weird, but I want you to go with it. I want you to try this. It's rich, okay? It's quite exotic. It's and you can't have too much of it, but it is life-changingly good, okay? And this is a recipe that comes right from my family. It's a Malaysian banana salad, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to chop up some bananas. Okay, you just like little banana circles. You take the knife and you go chop, 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 and you do a bowl full of bananas. Okay, and then you're going to chop some onions, and you might want to include some just a small amount of sultana raisins, but you don't have to. Okay, but the onion you want, and then you're going to add. And it's going to sound weird, but I want you to stick with me. I want you to add a little bit of mayonnaise to the top of this pile of bananas and onions that you have there. And then you're going to take 2 spoonfuls, heapfuls, nice big spoons of curry powder. Okay. And a little bit of sugar. And you're going to mix this in. And now the secret to this salad is that you don't eat it too fresh. You got to let it stand for a couple of hours before you dig into it. But that's it. It's the bananas that's been chopped up, some onions, maybe some raisins. You can have the mayonnaise and the curry powder, a little bit of sugar. If you want, you can add a little bit of mustard as well to give it that extra tang. Now, this is not a thing that you want to cover your plate in. You put it on the side of your plate, like it's almost like it's a bit of a pickle or something, you know. You're not going to need that much because, like I said, it's very, very rich, but you're not going to regret it. It's delicious.
If there's a show we want to know, should we go or was it a no-no?
So last week there was a bit of a lackluster review, but that's because that's how I felt about it. And you know, the thing is, you got to taste differ, and you got to make up your own mind anyway. And you know, somebody said critics are like eunuchs in a harem. My reviews aren't always necessarily the very latest things, the latest and greatest that's happening at the cinema, or that's happening at that's happening around the world, that's making headlines at this particular moment, because I sometimes dig stuff out and discover stuff long after they've, like, you know, stopped being fashionable, or just after they stopped being fashionable, because that's how I consume stuff. I don't have time to just be on the cutting edge of everything. I work for a living. So sometimes my reviews come from what I've seen at the cinema, like last week, or what I've just seen on streaming, like this week, or I went to a party or a premiere or a film club or something, and I happen to see something there. So I share them as I get them. And I try only to mention the noteworthy, but if there's nothing else, I'll mention the duds like I kind of did last week. But this week, I found something that was really, really enjoyable. It blew my mind. I loved it. This is science fiction as it should be. It was on cinema not too long ago. It's Project Hail Mary. If you haven't seen this, it is fabulous. What a fun, amazing, lovely movie. This is sci-fi as it should be. First of all, there's an interesting concept. There's something new, which is the big thing. You don't get a lot of this. The idea that, like a tree virus, suns can be infected with a virus, is a fascinating idea. I found that a really lovely concept. And there was the way that the story was told, it was a nice way of revealing the world to the audience as well. And there were some characters you can really root for. I couldn't believe how emotional I got over a rock. Project Hail Mary was a lovely science fiction movie. I need to read the writer of Project Hail Mary. I need to read some of the books and see if the books are as good as the movie was. I bet the guy's really good. I'll report back to you on that. But the movie was fabulous. If you're looking for a nice, interesting, entertaining, thought-provoking, funny, warm, positive, let's root for them kind of story, Project Hail Mary is one to go. It's also one of these films that don't lecture you on anything. No one's making a point or injecting politics into it, and that's getting increasingly rare. Now it's time for my little progress report. I've got to do this. And, I had my first show, and it's time for my first correction. And this will be our last apology for this episode. I said I was busy writing OBE. I'm not busy writing OBE. It's not true. I'm busy with all the post stuff on that. And there's a lot of post stuff. I used to think the work was done when I was done writing it. But that's not how it works. When you're done writing it, the work begins. There's not just the editing, but there's the marketing copy, and there's the distribution work and all that stuff. So I'm actually busy. I misspoke because that was foremost on my mind because we just launched the cover art by Nathan Ardy, which is fantastic. I love his stuff, and he's wonderful. He did the Majesty cover art, and he's also done Chronicles of Oab. But what I'm working on at the moment is actually the last tweaks, the last bit of the Black Book of Copywriting, which will be out very soon. It should be available in about, let's see, I should be done with the book, completely done with all the edits and the final checks and stuff in the next 2 weeks. And then it should take about another month and a half before it's available. And it will be available worldwide, and it will be available only in paperback. We're going to go straight to paperback with this one. It's essentially a book that gives you, before I became a full-time writer, storyteller, filmmaker, novelist, I had this career as a copywriter, and I enjoyed it, and it was great, and it was a way for me to make a living doing what I love, which is writing. Now, I am now a storyteller, not a copywriter anymore, but I love the field, and I do want to part with some advice to the young and new copywriters or people who want to get into copywriting. And I found that there's not a lot of good books out there on the subject. Believe it or not, strangely, there's only a handful of books that are mildly good, and none of them really address the full scope of it. So I wanted to provide a manual that gives you the war stories and the anecdotes and the richness you will find in the industry, the world, the career, the job, the gig, what it involves, so that you can pick up how the world really works, how that world really works. And then I wanted to impart the right attitudes, and then I wanted to impart the right skills, so that anybody who went into that field could not just be another copywriter, but be the best in the business. So this book will be action-packed with exercises and with drills and with techniques and with attitudes, theory, practice, and the stories. This is the most well-rounded way I can think of getting copywriters ready to really perform and excel in the field. So if you're into that, this might be the book for you. It's the first time I've touched nonfiction in a while, but I wanted to do it while things are still fresh in my head, but it's no longer about me being in the field. So it's not a book that I put out there to advance myself professionally. I'm a storyteller. That's what I do now. But I wanted to give something to the world that was really good to me, and to copywriters, because what I did notice was that they were, most of the grads and the ones without the education that walked into my office were woefully underprepared for what they needed to do. So that's the Black Book of Copywriting, and I'm busy with the last tweaks on that. Like I said, 2 weeks from now I should be done, then about a month and a half before it's available, but that's the actual work I've been doing as the other stuff continues unfolding. It's never just one thing that you're busy with, but creatively, that's where I'm at the moment. And with that, it's time for another little break.
When the day comes heavy and my chest feels tight, I find a little doorway in a melody tonight. One note at a time turns the dark to gold, and the cracks in me start glowing whole. I was barely hanging on, then the feeling pulled me through. Every broken piece in me started moving back to you. Singing lifts my spirit, heals my soul. Singing lifts my spirit, makes me whole. When my heart goes low, your voice brings me home. Singing lifts heals my soul. On the long, heals my soul. On the longest mornings, when the mirror light, I let a simple chorus clean the tears from my eyes. I don't need a miracle, I just need that sound, something warm and living to turn me around. I was barely hanging on, then the feeling pulled me through. Every broken piece in me started moving back to you. Singing lifts my spirit, heals my soul. Singing lifts my spirit, makes me whole when my heart goes low. Your voice brings me home. Singing lifts my spirit, heals my soul, heals my soul, heals my soul. And if I fall apart again, I know where to go. Right into that rhythm where the hurting slows. One more breath, one more line, I come back to life every time. Singing lifts my spirit, heals my soul. Singing lifts my spirit, makes me whole when my heart goes low. Your voice brings me home. Singing lifts my spirit, heals my soul, heals my soul.
Wasn't that song just amazing? That was Akasha. She's lovely. A little bit of positivity there, just proving that I'm not dead inside. We did go to the beach at Newquay, and it was lovely. We've been there before, but when we went, it was very wintry and very rainy. And this time it was beautiful. The sun was shining, and it was a perfect summer's day. And in Newquay, which is the surfing capital of the UK, it's in North Devon. So there's this pretty much standard, nice, kind of touristy, surfery town, and it's built on the edge of a cliff. And you walk down these rocks, and you get down to these sandy beaches. That's at the bottom of these quite dramatic rocks. And there's quite a few spots where there's restaurants on the beach or hotels on the beach. So we went to one, there was a wedding, so we couldn't go there. So we went to another one, it was lovely. Sat there, right there, had lovely seafood, and then walked straight from our meal, took our shoes off, walked in the water. Also here, closer to home in Plymouth City Centre, for a number of years now, we've walked around it like it's a concentration camp. We've had these barriers set up in the middle of the city as they were building it. And that's finally been taken down. And now there is this city center that's got these little pockets of wildflowers. And it's got these fountains. And it's got these things for the kids to climb on. I think it's wonderful. I think it's a lovely space. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be problems. I'm sure there's something to be complained about. This is England. They love to moan. But it's a lovely area. At least for people with kids especially, it would be wonderful. So there we go. This week, we have a date with some fine older gentlemen. We're going out. They have a monthly gathering, and there are some wonderful people, and we've made some very good friends, and it's always fun spending time with them. They're much older than we are, but we love them, and culturally, myself and my partner were closer to them in that we were raised in a place that was like a couple of generations behind. So socio-culturally, our experience of the world matches theirs. more than they match people of, say, our own age group. But that's always fun, and we're going to do that this week. And that brings us to the end of episode 2. If you have a question, you can get it asked here on the air if you mail us at connect@extremelyforward.com. That's connect, CONNECT, @extremelyforward.com. If you can, please follow or like or subscribe or leave a comment or share. Tell your friends. Otherwise, engage. It will really help me out. And a reminder that we're available for free on Spotify and YouTube and Rumble, in case the blood-sucking communists want to cancel us. The official online store, petervanderwaldshop.com, will resume its national road show in August. Dates will be on the website, and we will mention all the events on this show as well. Please join me again on Monday, 20 July, for a special Pioneer Day episode, the Utah Peeps. This is one for you guys. And we'll also issue our list of demands. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening, and I really appreciate your company. I really like enjoy spending some time here. So thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to eat your vegetables, don't pull your sister's hair, and until next week, shake your booty like this one as we exuent.
Yeah, handle my, 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 handle mine. Every bill on time, every kid fed good, every goal in line. Talk slick online, I don't really mind. I'm too busy building what I'm leaving behind. Handle mine, every bill on time, every kid fed good, every goal in line. Talk slick online, I don't really mind. I'm too busy building what I'm leaving behind. Wake up at 5 and I'm already moving. Coffee in the calendar, strategy proven. Ain't waiting on luck and I ain't waiting on savior. Stacking up the habits that create better behavior. Mama said work, daddy said save. Both said stand tall, don't be nobody's slave. So I learned budgets, learned trades, learned taxes. Learned if you want it better, build the apparatus. Fast with the flow, but I'm steady with the mission. Never had time for perpetual victimhood position. Got mouths to feed and a family to guide. When the pressure get heavy, that's the moment I decide. No panic, no drama, no posting for praise. Just plans on plans and productive days. House full of laughter, table full of food. That's the kind of wealth put us all in the mood. Handle mine, every bill on time. Every kid fed good, every goal in line. Talk slick online, I don't really mind. I'm too busy building what I'm leaving behind. I don't got time for excuses repeated. If a problem show up, then it's probably defeated. Got a notebook loaded with 100 objectives. Every move calculated from a practical perspective. Grandma in church, granddad working doubles. Taught me how to navigate a world full of troubles. Keep your word solid, keep your circle small. When your name means something, you ain't gotta shout at all. Rapid fire cadence, but the message stays simple. Protect your people, build your future brick by brick. Full generational vision. Every payment, every lesson, every sacrifice made becomes a future blessing. I ain't saying life easy, I'm saying stand firm. Every setback, carry a lesson you can learn. Every seed you water, eventually you grow. That's why I stay focused while the noise come and go. Business in the morning, family in the evening. Planning for tomorrow while the doubters keep leaving. Budget, invest, protect progress. Never let emotion make a permanent mess. Discipline first, then the confidence follow. Strong roots grow deeper through the difficult hollows. I don't need applause, I don't need permission. Got a family tree depending on my ambition. Handle mine, every bill on time. Every kid fed good, every goal in line. Talk slick online, I don't really mind. I'm too busy building what I'm leaving behind. Handle mine, every bill on time. Every kid fed good, every goal in line. When it's all said and done and they ask what I design, a strong family standing 'cause I handle mine.